Welcome, welcome, welcome to Shift Talk. We're doing a special session today in honor of this this move of Aquarius into, Pluto in Aquarius. I am Latanya Taylor, affectionately known as the Rev Coach, the Juicy Spirit Mama, the Priestess of Purpose, Pleasure, Passion, and Profits. And this has been a while. We're dipping in here while we are preparing for our new season of Shift Talk. I thought I would get the conversation going with you all today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see you all are joining in, and I want to go on, and I would love to kick this off with, to frame the conversation. I will have some friends that may be joining on in a few minutes, but in the meantime and in between time, I want to get this conversation going. I posted something on Facebook today that said, because it was a channel messages. You all know when you catch these early morning messages from me, oftentimes they're transmissions that seemingly come out of nowhere, or sometimes even in the middle of the night. So if you follow me on Facebook, do check out my my Facebook posts. Sometimes they make it over to Instagram and Threads. But I heard so clearly that there's so many people who are giving different forecasts of this Pluto and Aquarius, and we should be aware of this movement because we are going to be affected. We're going to be affected in ways that's an unknown factor. It is an unknown. And so because of that, we get to. It's not even a have to, it's a choice. And that's the thing that we forget, that's involved oftentimes in our spirituality. Choice is the highest level of spiritual, using spiritual tools. Now, of course, does it feel like there are going to be times in this energy where we could easily feel like we don't have a choice? Absolutely. And that's what we are going to talk about today. So I'm not going to do all the talking. As much as I, love this topic, I want to frame it up with a few things that I have prepared for you. And if you are watching on any other platform, I do want to invite you to join me on YouTube today. Okay, so here we go. I want to start off the conversation and see where this lands you, because oftentimes we go into fear-based consciousness and we miss the opportunity to use this energy as fertile ground. And so I want to play this because I love this piece from my girl Mati on TikTok. So check this piece out, okay? Hey, love, I'm putting it on here so you can join me on YouTube. Okay, so check this out. Can you all see? I want to make sure you can see as I'm playing with technology here. Nope, I'm so glad I came back over here, so you can see what I'm sharing with you. Okay, so one at a time. Nope. This is the one I want to share with you first. So you see, there's more that I want you to pay attention to for those who are aware. And I know I'm promoting my girl because of the dark. I don't want to even play that music just so that they don't take it off. But those are images of the what's considered the dark feminine, which is oftentimes represented by Scorpio energy, sirens, water energy, and the Sibyls. The Sibyls are the water energies. Okay, so you all know we've talked about the Sibyls. So hold on, we're going to get to that in a minute. But I want you to hear this message from Ma Bear. She's a significant voice in the indigenous community, and she channels messages that speak to what was coming before we got here. When the seers have seen this time and prepared for this time, and what's happened is those of you who are so immersed in the matrix, which is easy to do, no judgment, no shade, it's easy to be distracted. But I do want you to know that there are people who are not online who are tapping into this energy, who are not who are not monetized and trying to get followers. So check this out. In our culture, each generation is responsible to provide. Wait a minute, I want to check and make sure that you can see what I'm sharing now. Nope. Okay. All right. So let me go back to what I was sharing. All right. Now you should see it. Let me start it over. I am the spirit of Hannah Sunkinson. I'm Mother Bear's seventh generation back. Some of you might have heard that in our culture, each generation is responsible to provide for the seventh generation ahead. And I think we did a pretty good job. However, Mother Bear is afraid for her children and grandchildren and the seventh generation ahead of her. We had things going pretty good here for 12,000 years. Then other people came and they had their own ideas. Being the loving and lovable people that we are, we gave them a chance to run things their way. And now that's got to stop. You're going to have to assimilate because we need to provide for our seventh generation ahead. We gave you a chance and it just didn't work. So I'm going to go through some of our more important um, cultural ways that probably will help you too. Our leaders are chosen because they give away the most and take care of the most people. Being a liar is the worst thing you can be. Children are considered the best gift the Creator can give you, and they're to be treasured. You might not like the way they turned out sometimes. You might not like some of the things they do, but you gotta love them. You can even love them from a distance. We didn't have any rape or child abuse or domestic violence here. If a man had to force a woman to have sex with him, he would have got laughed out of the village because sex wasn't a bad thing for us. When you tried to Christianize us and tell us that sex was a bad thing and it was only to be done for procreation and women were never to enjoy it, we didn't believe you. We just figured you weren't doing it right. If a man had to beat up on his wife and kids, the other guys would figure he didn't have the ability to reason, so nobody would want to hang out with him. If you had to leave the village, if nobody wanted you around, nobody could make it on their own. And it wasn't only because of the elements, and it was because the strongest needs in humans is to know that somebody else cares about what happens to you. If your whole community doesn't want you around and they don't care about what happens to you, that's what's going to kill you. In our culture, men and women have equal power. Well, not quite equal. When we start to tell you, Muchi, Wampana Ak Tuash, you Mata, Englana, that means you must speak Wampanoag. This is not England. You're going to find that in our language, the word for man, Washkiton, means the one who walks upon the surface. The word for woman, Matamwasas, means the one who has the last word. Okay, I'm going to pause it because I know that that's very faint for some of you, but that I'm going to set up the next one, okay? I want you to see this one. This is one of the important ones as well. I'm the seventh grandmother back from Mother Bear.
People that know about our culture know that that's an important connection because each generation is to provide for the seventh generation ahead. And being spirits, we can come into any of our descendants as long as they honor us. And Mother Bear honors me, so I'm more than willing to help her out anytime. And it's not because she has a weak mind like some of her cousins will tell you. And a lot of your ancestors are willing to come in and help you if you invite them in, and as long as you honor them. The last time I was here, I spoke to the people without color and informed them that it was time for them to assimilate. I want you to keep working on that. It's going to be good for everybody. But today I'm here to talk to my own people. I'm here to tell you it's time to decolonize your mind. Um, you've taken up too many of the other people's ways and it's thrown you off track. First, let me tell you, every day is Thanksgiving Day. Starting with, I woke up this morning, thank you. The whole purpose of life is to be in a constant state of thanksgiving. Um, I know that a lot of our young people are confused and angry and discouraged. And we feel for you, we hurt for you. A lot of that has to do with the situation in the world today, but you're also being doubly taxed by the what they call intergenerational trauma. Trauma that happened to your ancestors is passed in the DNA, and you feel it too. A lot of you are turning to drugs and alcohol to try to block this out. It doesn't work. Did you know that Native people are born without an enzyme in their brain that processes alcohol? So we get drunk faster, we stay drunk longer, and it makes us really, really crazy. The Creator did not mean for us to have alcohol. When you get drunk, your spirit is off balance for 4 days. Um, and the drugs, um, that's a government program to keep you enslaved. We're trying very hard to bring you back into the circle because when we lose so many of you, it really hurts. Some of you are crossing yourselves over, and it's the worst pain we can feel. We're going to love you back into the circle.
I want to pause here when we're talking about crossing yourself over. Crossing ourselves over is a form of a spell. And so oftentimes for us, it's our words, it's the institutions that we protect and participate in, it's the things that the way we've been told, we've all been lied to. And this is why we're in this season of revelation. Do you think that it's an accident that spirit is starting with the entertainment energy? That's not an accident because too many of us have become so focused on stars, not focused on our own star code. And so that's what I want to talk to you today about, your star code. So I want to put the context of when she said you are crossing yourself. Let us continue.
And you'll be happier, and you'll understand that that was not the way to be. A lot of you also so colonized that you're using the N-word a lot. Do you realize that there was an agreement made between our people way before the people without color got here?
Way
The
before
black people agreed that they would sacrifice
before
and
the
do the slavery thing
1800s.
for us, or we would have been
And
completely wiped out.
okay,
We owe them such a debt.
I want you to hear this again. This is important. People are not making up that we were already here, not transported, because this is the type of knowledge that awakens our DNA for us to connect. Now, we don't just have a little Indian in us. We are that. But why am I sharing this? I'm going to tell you in a minute. Hold on. Hold on. I want to replay this part again.
People agreed that they would Do you realize that there was an agreement made between our people way before the people without color got here? The black people agreed that they would sacrifice.
So, do you understand when we talk about dark energy, dark matter, primordial, indigenous, organic to the land? Who do you think is most afraid of? They're most afraid of coming online, just like supercell. Gonna show you a clip from that in just a moment as well.
And do the slavery thing for us, or we would have been completely wiped out. We owe them such a debt. Don't be caught up in American racism. They don't want us to unite and be together because they're afraid of that we'll treat them the way they treated us. We're human beings. We could never be that.
Key in on her saying, mama saying, we're human beings. Because why did she say that? Do you understand that there are other, now the Senate and they're having hearings talking about other life, and where the real outer space is? Things that everything that we've been taught in textbooks is really, you can just flip it. If space is up there, the truth is space is in the water. I mean, we could go on and on. So now this whole thing in terms of conspiracy theory, or why you are coming online with yourself, your desires, and why it's so hard sometimes to assimilate and pretend like you don't know. But go ahead, let me finish.
Thoughtless, and we don't have to worry about that because from the way things look, they're going to self-destruct. A lot of them are spinning out of control. We're not even going to have to do anything. We might have to put a few of them out of their misery, but for the most part, they're going to wipe themselves out because of their greed and selfishness. And that's another thing. If you have a lot of money and you're out here buying fancy cars and buying a lot of material things and your people are suffering and you're not helping them, you're always going to be poor, poor in spirit. It's not the way. Material things can be taken away in an instant. And if that's what your whole life is about, then what is your life worth then? Another way I see a lot of our people colonized is this homophobia thing. Two spirit people is what we call them. In America, they're called gay people, or as some of the legendary children like to be called, enchanted. But to us, two spirit people were held in high esteem because they had the spirit of both men and women. Our philosophy is as long as you ain't hurting nobody, you just live your life. And that goes for you heterosexuals too. I don't like to see our people confused and mixed up and not knowing which way to turn. But when you're confused, it's because your mind and your spirit knows that you're not doing the right thing. And you're never going to be happy like that. Um, we've always been loving people, generous people. And that's the way the Creator meant us to be. I know a lot of our people are Christians. We've always been brought up to have respect for the Christians because that's how our particular tribe survived the colonial wars, because they had what they called the pray or die policy on us. That meant if you didn't become a Christian, you would get wiped out. Our tribe said, okay, we'll be Christians.
That's also key. That's all. That when we're talking genealogy, when we're talking about who we are, this is important to understand. I didn't know either. I wasn't taught either. I learned later in life. So this is the revelation season. These are the mothers who are speaking. There are other mothers like this. I'll try to pull some of them up.
We went to their church, but we still did traditional things in the woods where they couldn't see it. And over the years, some of us have come to question some of the Christian ways. Um, and I just have a question for some of our Christian tribal members. If God knows everything and doesn't make any mistakes, there's a reason why God put the different colors of humans where he wanted them. And if he's going to send his son back to check on how things are going, what's going to happen when those people are not where they're supposed to be?
Mm.
Just
Whew.
something to think about. So,
Whew. Okay, y'all. So this is Mama Bear. This has been circulating. This is valuable information from the indigenous. We could go into the Mayans as well. If you couldn't hear, sorry. Especially if you have background noise, go look up the YouTube. You can see it on there. Decolonize Your Mind with Mama Bear is there. Okay. And so I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. The point is, there are going to be many people who are talking this about this, and it some of them I've seen are talking doom and gloom. Now, while we do need to be mindful of everything that is happening during this time and in this season, it doesn't have to be doom and gloom. But one of the things that I see that's not being talked about is how Scorpio is a feminine energy. Scorpio energy is the dark mother. She's been the most forgotten. In fact, Malcolm X said the most unprotected, the most downtrodden. And so it's no accident that she that the primordial mother is the one that has been forgotten and erased in this whole mashup that's coming. And so what does that mean? It doesn't it means something for women, but it also is significant for men too. So this is not just about gender. This is when we talk about feminine energy that has been forgotten, that has been mistreated. We're talking about the mother of civilization. We're talking about dark energy, and oftentimes dark has been intended to mean negative or bad, even for us. And so think about the psychological flip that's happening when you fear yourself, when you don't know and you've forgotten how divine and how sacred you are. And yes, okay, so now you have to, not that you have to, but you join spaces like mine to study and to remember. That's not an accident. It's not an accident that you come in to rebirth yourself and your relationship with your own divine feminine. Not an accident. It's a reason for that in this season. And because of that, it's important for us to not let this be another boogeyman in another heaven or hell that we have to worry, even though in this season it could feel apocalyptic at times. And we do have to get our house in order, because that is exactly the message that Capricorn brought to us. We have why was Capricorn energy so fierce on us and institutions? And why those institutions are no longer functioning well. And I said this on IG Live yesterday. Some people went into fear when Trump released his plan about, for instance, the Department of Education. And I asked all of you, I said, are you okay with the educational system as it is? Many of you said, no, absolutely not. I want to homeschool my kids, but I can't because I have to work. So think about that. And when you think about the level of dissatisfaction that you had, but you didn't know how to get out of it, you knew that there was more to your life than work and paying bills. But anything else that came to your awareness about it, you're like, oh, that sounds crazy to me. I know it. This, but something in you told you it didn't feel right, but yet at the same time, you don't know what to do about it. This is the season. What to do about it can be revealed. But Scorpio is an energy that merges the dark and the light, the fierce and the soft, right? Peace and war. And it has a way of being able to navigate the duality, but not without taking you into the depths of yourself, your shadow work. So, yes, there are going to be activities that are happening on the outside. It's already being set up. And the reason why we need to know who we are, particularly when we talk about the indigenous people and knowing your genetics and your history, because there is an attack that is suggested that could be coming. Okay, so let me go to the people who speak it better than me. There's some people who speak to these types of energies, and I want to go to my brother B Dale in just a minute. I have another brother that's trying to get on, and I want to send him the link, but I'm sharing my screen, so I'm going to work on that as well. But if you will allow, tap into this. This could be a little scary, but I want you to understand the levels. There's several levels, and so we have to grow up out of the baby food conversations. We have to grow up and move into our adept understanding of things. Many of us want to be spoon fed that it's okay to ask questions, that it's okay to be different. And Aquarian energy is coming saying, I'm not asking for permission. I am the divine disruptor. But that goes for any part of you, of your light that you've been hiding or afraid to tap into. You know that there's more for you, but you haven't been able to access it. That's going to start to feel uncomfortable for you personally. I want to, and some of these things we can talk about how to use the feminine arts to be our covering. But these are not things that we talk about all the time on open platforms. This is spiritual warfare. And that means we have to come out. When the Bible talks about going into your secret closet, there is going to be open discussion, but you don't have to engage every open discussion without study. The scripture also says, study and show thyself approved. Well, what do you need to study? You got to study yourself first. So you got to see, where is Scorpio? How is it hitting your chart? How is Pluto hitting your chart? What do you have in the eighth house? What is going on for you? This Scorpio energy is also transiting the second house. So that speaks to our finances, what we value, our love, our sex, and our money. So if that's up for reevaluation, why hang your head low? Why not go on and get in position to have an honest conversation with yourself before you have to have it out in the open, before all your draws hanging out? But America already is, their draws are hanging out, and they don't need you, sis. They don't need you, dark mother, to intercede and get in the way of what's coming. But let me go to this next level. You ready? Let's go to the next thing, okay? Yes, you say, "Whew, honey, she did." Nope, I'm good, but I wanna share this with you. Okay, now we're gonna go in a little bit more. Check this out from my brother B Dale, who is a true researcher, a scientist, if you will, and he loves to go and collect receipts. So shout out to B Dale. Anybody want to tag B Dale? I show him love all the time, and I don't mind you all knowing where I also get my cup filled, where I can have a depth conversation. Because to be honest with you, some of the time I know most of you all are in transition, and so but you've been in transition and on the fence for too long for your own self. You've been in transition and on the fence about the light that you are supposed to bring to the earth. And so, yes, I'm calling you out. And if you're scared, say you're scared, but do it afraid. Okay, let me go. Let me go. Okay, this is where I come in. This is where we need to have a little bit more discussion. Even my brother didn't go into it, and I appreciate that he didn't necessarily go into it. Why? Because there are certain things that we need to talk about amongst ourselves. That's not the brothers' jobs. There are brothers out here teaching, because yes, this is going to be a dance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Okay, did you all not see this? Because I don't think I loaded it up. You could hear the message. I'm gonna have to go back and rewind this a little bit, because this is important for you to understand what happened before when Pluto was in Aquarius. And I'll come back in again when he talks about the number 13. The 13th power, you've been made to be afraid of the number 13. There are whole buildings that don't have a 13th floor, as if you skip the number, then it means you go from 12 to 14. So just eraser, just like the divine feminine. And so that erasure is happening in us as the mother of civilization. We don't know that these are our children. How did your mother act when her children were out of line? She put them out of her house if she had to. She prayed for them. She got assistance. Okay, but we'll come back to that. I want to set this up, okay, to make sure. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you picking up what your girl is putting down? So I'm gonna go back to the beginning for you to hear and see what Brother B. Dale says.
It says right here verbatim that the Haitian Revolution was a successful insurrection by self-liberated slaves against the French colonial rule in Saint Dominique, right? Then you also had the French Revolution. The French Revolution was a period of a political and societal change in France. So the same thing that's actually taking place in American soil right now, when you're talking about the societal and a geopolitical economic reset that works in tandem with the sustainable development goals, when you're talking about, agenda for 2030, because everything they got to do within the factions of Pluto being in Aquarius for 19 years, they got to start right now in 2024 as we transition in 2025. Also, when Pluto was in Aquarius, we had the Irish Rebellion of 1798, which was basically a popular insurrection against the British crown that basically demonstrate a subordinate energy. And then you also had the American Revolution. The American Revolution was a rebellion and a political movement in the 13 colonies, which peaked at the colonists initiated in an ultimate successful war. So you also see the number 13 because 13 is also the embodiment of the matriarch, right? That's a matriarchal number. So everything that you're seeing right now that's taking place when you're talking about Pluto being in Aquarius, right now.
Okay, that's where I came in to talk about the 13, the matriarchy. And oftentimes that's why you have 13 astrology, 13 level astrology. And a lot of times people don't want to deal with 13 astrology because that 13 level of astrology beyond the 12 means something in you has to die. And most of us have not done the work yet. So when we talk about this energy of Scorpio and Aquarius, we are talking about transmutation, which means that there is a rebirth that must happen. The butterfly, it starts off as the caterpillar, but goes into cocoon and liquefies. She changes a whole form before she emerges out of her shell. And spiritually, many of us don't even know that there's a season happening in different areas of our life where we may have to liquefy. This is why I teach Juicy. Juicy is not just about the sensual turn on. Juicy is also about the spiritual liquefaction process that has to happen in us, where the walls that we've put up, the secrets that are in our families that we carry. And sometimes when we can't shift something in our life with our finances, when we can't shift something in our life when it comes to our relationships, when we can't shift something, what happens is everything begins to shift, so that we can go on the inside and begin to ask different questions and become the answer to the question that we are asking. So shall I continue with just a little bit more of context of dark energy?
The deep state has pretty much lost its legs. because it's basically the end of a corporation. Because as I was telling you before in my last transition, when I was telling you about how Obama was basically the last president of the Roman occupational government, right? So his presidency was basically predicated against, it was basically, how can I say it? It was basically missionary work. It wasn't a real presidency. So it was basically the end of the corporate system of the de facto corporation, right? It was the end of the corporate powers that controlled the three city states. So now the deep state, they got to have some type of black swan event to basically eradicate the process of the restoration of the republic. So we looking at a different, many different afflictions that can take place on American soil. So we looking at, a possible shutdown in the future. You're looking at Al Sudani will meet with Kurdistan on Wednesday. Donald Trump will meet with Joe Biden on Wednesday. The Federal Reserve is meeting next Wednesday because, the U.S. dollar has basically lost, an intrinsic amount of value, right? And then you have 195 countries basically eradicated the dollar. They stepped away from it. And then you have the World Leaders Action Climate Summit is next Wednesday. And then you got the IMB and the WHO are having a meeting next Wednesday. And then the House is meeting on UFOs is scheduled for next Wednesday as well, right? So all this stuff, all these meetings is basically setting a blueprint and a tone and a frequency for what is to come when Pluto enters Aquarius for 19 years, right? Not a coincidence.
Okay. We're going to stop right there for a moment. Is there more? Absolutely, there is more. But what does this mean for you? What does this mean for if you have had a relationship with the divine where you are afraid, where you have to to perform, then oftentimes this type of thing you'll go into, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? Because this energy it represents an unknown factor, both in the external but also in the internal. So that means that we have to go inside to get our information so that we can tap into something beyond this world. So this joy I have, the world didn't give it to me. But is it true that the world can't take it away? Because how many of you had your joy taken in 2020? Now, 2020 is very interesting because 2020, Pluto was still in Capricorn, but there was a stellium in Capricorn. And that stellium in Capricorn was all about systems, all about institutions, and they came to a halt. And many people can testify that something changed and shifted in you. There were some who went the direction of fear, and there were some who went the direction of courage. There are some who went the direction of fear and still trying to clean that up in their health, in their relationships. Marriages fell apart. People made decisions to keep jobs only to have no restitution for the damage it has done to your system, your hormones, the damage that it has done to if you took a vote for yourself and you didn't go along with it. There are lawsuits that are happening because the institutions came together, created rules, and had mock proceedings to say that if you don't do this, then you will lose your livelihood. So when we hear this type of thing, it can be a trauma response to however you experience 2020. Some people experience 2020 as a glorious cocooning, a time to go within, restore our families. Some people took charge of their health, had honest conversations. But if you don't like being at home, if you're not at home in yourself, this is a panic. If you're alone, there's a loneliness epidemic since that time of social restriction that we experience. And so people are still trying to bounce back even from that. People got married during that time. So that stellium. So those of you, let me talk to the galley who think that we should not believe in any of that. I come from the Nation of Islam. They don't believe that. I know there are other types of denominations who think that this is witchcraft and something else and that. But there's a witchcraft that's happening that is dark when you are in fear. It has control over you. And okay. All right. So I want to tell you something else. We've had several conversations on several platforms already. Some of you all are here from IVTV. Shout out to those of you who join me every Monday when planning with the planets there. And then there are some of you who are here from the Rebirth community, and some of you are the juicy ones. And if you're new here, welcome again. Welcome home to yourself, where we have taboo conversations in our shift talk, where love, sex, and money is a vortex to enter into and get information so that we can reset our vision for ourselves. Welcome to a place where we've done the work of deconstruction. Some of us, we've looked at some of the things that we've been taught to believe about ourselves so that we can replace it with something that is more current with what the divine has placed in us. Welcome to a space, for those of you who are new, where you don't have to be afraid of deconstructing and going to hell while you're trying to figure it out, where studying yourself and showing yourself approved is a verb, not a noun. It's not based off of me. I'm not your guru. I don't have the last word. The last word is in you. You are the new revelation from the revelation. The book of Revelation already told us about certain things like this. And so you got a scripture that needs to be written in you. That's what I came to tell you. But you got to know that you got to tap into that mother spirit without being afraid of whatever your mother wound is, or whatever the mother wound is in the collective consciousness. Okay. All right. Let me calm down. Woo! Lord have mercy. So let's talk about Pluto, because Pluto brings generational change. So if Pluto brings generational change, what generation were you born in? Come on, drop it in the comments. What generation were you born in? Because that's who raised you. That generation that influenced you during a certain season influenced your mindset. Well, what was going on during that time in their mindset that influenced your mindset? And now we too have to update our soft and our hard drive. How many? Gen X? Okay, we got Gen X in the house. Keep it coming. If you don't know the generations, you can put the year. Okay, we're gonna talk about. We'll start. Looks like it's a Gen X party up in here. Okay, Gen X party. It's a Gen X party. All right, Gen X, 1968 sounds like a boomer. Let me see. Oh no, you Gen X. You're on the cusp of Gen X. Okay. They break it down by early Gen X. Okay, so this is where I want to go. Okay, you to 1979. You are right there on the cusp. Right there on the cusp of Gen X and millennial. Okay, millennial all right, millennial in the building. Represent for the millennials. I love my millennial nieces. My spiritual daughters. I love my spirit. I love you. I didn't always like you, but I love you because y'all was just raising hell for no damn reason until I started to listen better. And I understood that you were dissatisfied with those of us. I was on a political call the other day, it's aftercare for community development, because with millennials who were leading the charge, asking the question, about what are we going to do if we can raise $1 billion for a political candidate. Why are our communities suffering? So I got on that call, and the first thing that the sister said, let's face it, y'all, our generation has failed us. They were talking about Gen X because she was a millennial, and she was also talking about a little bit of baby boomers. So let me just talk to you about this, okay? So the most recent 6 zodiac signs that Pluto transited during our modern era was Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. And these generations were influenced in a certain kind of way. So what's not on here is the silent generation, which predates baby boomers. So baby boomers began at 1937 to 1958. My question to you, were you raised by a baby boomer? because this is important to identify. I want you to talk back to me. If your parent was, or whoever raised you was between 1937 and 1958, I'm asking a question. If they predated 1937, you were raised by the silent generation. That's the generation who went through atrocities that we are still hearing in our history. Okay, this is the people who experience even more atrocities than Emmett Till. Okay, good. You were raised by a baby boomer. You are. This is a good example of a millennial that was raised by a baby boomer. See, all of us are not necessarily the same. Okay, who influenced your mindset? Right. All right. Okay. Raised by a baby boomer. Okay. All right. So most of the Gen X, you could have been raised by the silent generation. But check this out. Those who were raised by the boomer, Pluto was touring a fixed sign in Leo. By the way, the fixed signs are going to have the most challenge with this energy because fixed signs like to be in control. And so fixed signs do not change easily. They don't like the unknown factor. They want to calculate fixed signs and earth signs. So let me keep going. So from 1937 to 1958, Leo, it was in the fixed air of Leo, right? And so that they were considered the me generation. Baby boomers that were the ones who made their oldest children raise their younger children. Baby boomers were the women who were trying to climb the corporate ladder. They let go of the agricultural world that the silent generation came from. This is when, did you all know the reason why we have suburbs is because most of our homes had farmland on it. You had fruit trees. You could go into Big Mama's house and she had fruit trees, a garden. She had livestock. And so when they began to do the psychological campaign to say wealthy people did not need fruit trees, that's how we get these yards that are manicured lawns. So so understand when I'm talking about when we think we put this pressure on ourselves to have and be do and have a certain thing. So when Mama Bear is talking about decolonizing your mind, you got to look at everything that you are call yourself working for and sacrificing for, and things you think that you are above. This baby boomer generation was the first generation to deny that they needed the agriculture. They let go of the foreign land. They thought that sharecropping was something that was negative. And so this was the me generation, right? This is the me generation. This is the generation that came of age in the 60s and the 70s, right? This is where social reform was happening. Protests and movements were happening during this time. This is where influential figures like Angela Davis and radical and political activism happened, even with the CIA agent Gloria Steinman, who also influenced some of our women to go against their household and their men. See, our men always worked with us, and we didn't know about division and being treated less than until we started listening to a feminist movement. We were always womanness. We were always guiding. Big Mama was always guiding our homes. Okay, let's keep going. And so during this time, social and political power was completely transformed by leaders who were unafraid to stand up to corruption. So even though they may have been about themselves, guess what? We got to give thanks for them because they were setting a stage for the activists in you. Even if you're not protesting, there's an activism that gets to happen on the inside of us that are breaking generational patterns and curses and generational contracts that no longer serve us. Is this too deep for you on a Wednesday? I just want to know. Talk to me. Is this too deep for you on a Wednesday? All right, let me keep going. The Leo generation was the first in the modern era to reap the benefits of a booming economy. This was the first generation who knew about a booming economy and advanced technology. So you ready for what's next? So now we go into Pluto in Virgo. Pluto in Virgo is the early generation X, right? The early generation X. I didn't even know that there was an early generation X until I started doing a little bit of research. I just thought it was Gen X and baby boomers. But there's a early generation X that transitions when Pluto goes into Virgo. So in other words, you already see that it has a different function. When Pluto, so this is why it's important to pay attention about how have you been affected by the previous generation, and make a choice and decision like Mama Bear that says that you're preparing for the next generation. You can't be like the me generation. You can't look at corporations anymore. See, the baby boomers were the ones who were devastated when they worked for a corporation for 40 years and at the end they got a pen or a watch, but they did not necessarily get the return on an investment. Some of our people were mothers and fathers worked for a corporation that was shut down and then they didn't get anything. And then by the time Gen X came along, we said we wanted to get a job, but some of us learned very early we could not do it just like Mama did it. Okay? So the early Gen X represents Pluto in Virgo, which is a generation, is the ability to embody wholeness and completeness of beyond the mainstream narrative. Gen X came with a whole new voice. This is the birth of hip hop. Come on now, where my Gen X at? How many of you know about PE, Public Enemy, number one? Ha! What? Come on now, where you at? Drop them in the comments, right? Before we got to NWA, which was also sponsored by the CIA. I don't normally talk like this, but it's important for us to understand the timeline. Do y'all remember this timeline? So from 1956 to 1972, you are considered the early Gen Xers, okay? I would be considered a early Gen Xer. I didn't know that. So this is important because this is the first iteration of what we know as the Gen X. This is where Pluto entered a mutable earth sign where this is about your intellect and personal empowerment. Gen X was the first generation that began to question and cloak. And so we had to learn how to move in and out of institutions that we understood was not necessarily where we were going to be forever, but we were the ones who would oftentimes ask questions and did our own thing, but we didn't make no noise about it the way the millennials did. Well, we made a little noise, but this is where MTV came into the culture. This is what's known as the slacker culture. This is where record labels and all of this began to take control of our narrative, even through NWA. Pluto and Virgo is a keep it real energy. Any Virgos in the house? You got any Virgos in your life? Virgos are the ones who are straight shooters, baby. They don't tend to care about your feelings that much. Yeah, if you want to know the truth, you go to a Virgo, but the Virgo is going to work with you because if that's their assignment, they're going to do it. I have a lot of Virgos in my life, as many of you all know. My mother is Virgo, and all my mothers and all my papas. Okay. And so this is Pluto generation is where Virgo, it came of age in the 90s, and we witnessed the rise of independence and creation outside of the mainstream. Okay, so then we move to late Gen X. Y'all ready for this? There is a late Gen X, and the late Gen X is governed by Libra, Pluto in Libra. We're getting there. We're getting there. And so Libra, it is the ability to seek real justice. Real justice. And it can look messy. Now, this is worthy to note that Libra is an air sign. And so Aquarius is an air sign. And this is a favorable season for air signs right now, too. So Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, it's time for you to have the honest conversations with yourself or get the support that you need, whether it be a mentor, whether it be a coach or therapist or all three. In other words, you need to have an executive team. I understand that air signs, we like to be independent and do things on our own. But the truth of the matter is, the thing that humbles us is when we have to ask for help and the help comes. It's not as negative as you think to be supported. You have nothing to prove, air signs. Okay. And so the power of Libra as a generation is the ability to go into the depths of justice, because Libra can see both sides. And so Generation X, it has, this is the second guard of the second cycle from 1971 to 1984. 1984. Yeah, she said, Michelle said, you came to teach for real. Michelle, they don't know, like, I teach like this in our private spaces. I let YouTube get a little glimpse every now and then. I teach like this when I'm on a pulpit. But hey, I can't wait for somebody to invite me, and you can't wait for somebody to invite you. You got to stand up and show up right where you are. I don't care where you live. I don't care where you sleep. I don't care what you do. You got to make it work. But anyway, let's keep it going. So this is also in where we get a little bit of the angel of darkness energy. The people don't understand that Libra has a dark side. Yes, Libra is governed by Venus. Yes, Libra is goddess energy, but Libra has a dark side. And so the dark side is the shadow work that sometimes that has to be done deep into your feminine power, your feminine magic, your sexual, sensual energy, the power to create. So this is also a love energy. So in the late 90s, the US, this is where we began to have a deeper conversation about color and race consciousness and color blindness. And this was when we entered into the season of respectability politics, and where there began to be some censoring towards the end of Gen X. This is where we started to be more appropriate. But also a lot of things were being hidden. You got to understand that Libra is a passive aggressive energy. And sometimes things don't come out through Libra until they have to do the work, where you show them the mess. So that generation had tended to be more, the late generation of Gen X tended to be more about the appropriate, being appropriate, don't hurt nobody's feelings. And we needed a little balance because the patriarchy was brutal. And so the Libra comes to bring in the balance, right? And so, but the thing is, there's a thirst for justice in Gen X that you can't help but want and desire. You place that in the millennials, that thirst for justice. If you gave birth to a millennial, they have a thirst for justice, for equanimity and reciprocity. Let me stay right there if you don't mind. Aquarius energy is also about friendships that might suddenly come to an end, where your social circles have to change in order for you to grow. In other words, you can't keep on having the same low vibrational conversation with low vibrational beings trying to prove that you still love them. I don't care if it's family. I don't care if it's high school people. It's time for you not to become a pillar of salt, looking back, trying to bring people with you, because everybody don't want it and everybody can't come. Okay. This generation is comprised of more people who are lawmakers, who are justice, thought leaders. This is where the discussion around reparations began to form into a more a bigger conversation, that, and not just something that was hush hush. So this is the Gen X energy. Okay. This is where people started to question what their politics, did they have to be blue or red. This is where the discussion about being bipartisan and independent came into play as well. All right, so now we have Pluto in Scorpio, which is so interesting, because Pluto governs Scorpio. And so you can't talk about Pluto moving into Aquarius without talking about Scorpio energy. That's where I'm talking about the goddess. And so in our communities, I suggest that we do a deep dive on the Sibyls again. It's where we do a deep dive on parthenogenesis. If you don't know that term, look it up. I didn't pull it up, but if you worked with me, you've heard me teach about it. Okay, so Pluto in Scorpio was 1983 to 1995. The power of Pluto in Scorpio as a generation exposed taboos in order to protect those who were most vulnerable. And so then you had people who are more emotional. They tease you millennials to say y'all are so sensitive and y'all cry babies and y'all don't want to do certain things. Well, this is a part of why. Because Scorpio is also a fixed energy, and it was the shortest amount of time that Pluto spent in one single sign. And so you all didn't even get the full benefit because Pluto is a slow moving energy. So those of us who have been avoiding any aspect of ourselves, when it comes up this time, you cannot run from it. When the desire, and it's not just the thing that you've been neglecting, the thing that's negative. It is also the thing that God has called you to do on the earth. And if you think, well, I've invested so much energy in this, it's time for you to consider that a new life path may be calling you forth, and that life path requires you to choose it and not be forced into it. But because some of us are stubborn, because we are hard-headed, Elijah Muhammad said, easy to lead in the wrong direction, hard to lead in the right direction. But because of some of this stubbornness, we're going to have to deal with it. So Black women, this thing where can't nobody tell us nothing, huh? We haven't handled everything right. We haven't done. And so when you deal with your mother wound, you can't just look at your mother wound and look at her. You got to look at where is it in me. You can't just look at your daddy and say he wasn't there and he didn't do this and that. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Well, our guest is here to join this conversation, and I don't know if he's going to put any fire on top of the fire I already feel. I love talking about Pluto. I love this Scorpio energy. The Dark Mother is in many ways a lifesaver for those of us who see her. In closing of the generations, that was a deep emotional time. So many of you, this is where the Me Too movement was born. This is where the U.S. gymnastics abuse scandal was exposed, and many other things that was done. Now here we are. Woo! Lord have mercy. Now we can talk about it with a master astrologist. Maybe he can bring in a little bit of human design. I couldn't think of anybody better to have this level of conversation with than my brother who got on the color purple. And he's a Taurus. Come on in, Bishop.
I'm just sipping my water over here, trying to cool things off. Listen, for those of you who've been on here before I came on here, this is a little water for y'all's ears, y'all's back of y'all necks, y'all's backside, because y'all are getting possibly a much needed thrashing today. So I know, and I don't know if I have any ointment, but I did bring some water for myself, okay? Because she's talking to me. So I'm bringing some water. So all of you should go get you some water. You know what I'm saying? What it say? Say dance, love, sing, live. They go get
I
you some
got that
water
too.
for this one right here.
So let
And
me
I
tell
brought Yoda. And I brought the Wu-Tang Clan. So don't think my purple and little baby Yoda is anything soft over here. So please go ahead. I'm just over here
you all
chilling.
know our brother, brother Oye, we welcome him into this rebirth, this shift talk space. But brother, I've been seeing so much doom and gloom about Pluto, and I knew that I could come in and talk about the 13 power, the matriarchy, the divine mother, the divine feminine, the primordial waters, the sibyls, the sirens, the ones that have been written about as myths and mysteries. I came in to talk about that, but I want you to, is there, maybe you see it another way. I humbly offer myself to the perspective, and we don't have to agree. I want us to be a demonstration of how other people can sit in the presence of another person and just listen to the oil that's in them. So what do you see? You heard me call you Bishop.
Well, I do have my own church. I am the founder of God First Universal Healing Temple Ministries at your service. I'm here at, the Sustaining Life Wellness Center in Winston-Salem, where we're now collaborating, relaxation is the key is collaborating to create a new ecosystem. And I thought I was gonna come on here and talk about the Great Mother, and because that's all I got to talk about. I ain't got a masculine
Come on with
perspective. I don't even have a masculine perspective. I mean, I do have a masculine perspective of how the Great Mother would like for me to tell you all something, and so you can like kind of calm me down if I get kind of riled up. Now I'm just nice and cool,
I don't
but
know. This
the,
is this is about that time. It's time for these voices to come online that have been, But anyway,
So
it's your
she gave
come on.
she gave y'all the Scorpio energy, which is great. She's absolutely correct. I ain't got nothing to add to that. But I don't know, did you hit them with the Aquarius energy when you mix
Not
that?
not yet.
Oh, oh,
Go
oh, oh,
ahead.
oh, oh, oh. Now me, I'm gonna have to just rewind y'all back a little bit. That today is not the first time Pluto went into Aquarius. Pluto went into Aquarius last year, then hit the and rewind, went into retrograde, back up into Capricorn, and then came again today. So when this happened last year, I was living with someone born with at 0 degrees Aquarius, which is Nityama, which he is the mother's child. And I was just looking at him, and he was catching it. Now, this is an empath, master, elder, 5-1 self-projected projector who ain't done nobody wrong who was catching it. There's not a lot of y'all out here that ain't done nobody wrong. Okay? So everybody, ain't nobody safe. Your only safety is in your integrity, and nobody's exempt. Every little fiber right now is about to be. Aquarius is evolution. Did you take a shower yesterday? Did you
Okay.
do some changing? So here comes the evolution that everybody wanted to put off. Your snooze button is broke now. It no longer works to be like, I've, Pluto's not going back into Capricorn. It's not going back into Capricorn and slow down. It went back and got some speed and now coming back. So what I was saying is, I'm gonna just say it like I said it before. Y'all can just take it like this. Sins of the father fall to the son. Sins of the mother fall to the daughter. So the sins of Adam, me, Smokey, Nityama, Amsu, we all got to pay for that. But it's been a lot of non-accountability of women that's like, I'm without sin. Jesus said, whoever without sin cast the first stone. Nobody can cast no stone and say, I'm just innocent. No, what you did is already on record with Mayat in the heart. So it's already there. And a lot of people not you covering up is not the same as erasing it. It's not the same as correcting it. And so now the sins of Eve are coming down to the daughters. And men got to man up for the sins of Adam. Adam didn't want to be um he didn't want to go stand up to evil. That's not the woman's job. That's Adam's job, and he fucked up. And now we got to stand up to evil. But Eve was not just innocent in the situation. She played her own part. She was very disobedient. Job's wife was very disobedient. Lot's wife was very disobedient under the penalty and threat of death. They said, don't eat from the tree of knowledge. Surely you will die. Eve said, I'm going to try God anyway. Okay. Job's wife told Job to go with the devil. How many times is a man trying to be righteous and she be like, nah, nigga, that ain't gonna work. So you need to go ahead and just choose the bag. Just dig into the Duffy. Just dig into the bag. Then you got Lot. And Lot's wife was given commands, don't look back. And she was what? Frozen into a pillar of salt. When I do something, my father would punish me harder. My sister do the same thing. She get less punishment. When my sister do something and get punished by my mama, she would get punished harder than I would for the same crime. The mother is coming now to take care of the daughter. And when I say take care of, I don't mean comfort you all. She's here with justice in her wings. The great mother is the mother of Kali Ma. So for
Yes.
those of you who have said, "Oh, I'm gonna just invoke Kali Ma," have you paid the tab to even be calling Kali Ma? Because just because you
Woo!
call Kali Ma, don't mean Kali Ma ain't coming for you too. Well, now you try to turn around and say, "Well, I put Kali Ma on JoJo because some JoJo was messing with me." Kali Ma said that was your brother. See, now is the unity. Everybody who ain't about unity and who's about abusing their sister or brother, the punishment is gonna be, it ain't gonna be no just no one slap and you can say, "Oh, please forgive me, white Jesus." Oh no, the great mother is not white Jesus. She don't play that. Well, I come down to the altar before I die on my deathbed. She bones and knuckles out here because she's everything. She can't just be soft four-ply tissue and not have that same martial aspect because she been watching her sons and daughters. But it won't time yet. We had to go first. So a lot of women were saying, "You brothers better quit doing us wrong. You brothers better do right." And brothers really been trying to get their shit together. Brothers have really been trying to get their stuff together. Some successful, some unsuccessful. But when I see somebody else getting their stuff together, I better not wait. Because Pluto is here. She can be catastrophic. In your natal birth chart, let's not even go about the transit. In your natal birth chart, Pluto is transformation. And she gives no F's. She don't care nothing about your little feelings or you think somebody did something wrong to you or I don't understand. She ain't taking no excuses because she's so far out. Remember, everything past Jupiter is a gangster planet. Pluto, Neptune, Uranus. They're not runners that you can predict and tell what to do. You ain't gonna be able to just to be like, "Oh, this is moon energy. This is Venus energy." Y'all ain't never seen this before. When you got the preview last year, you wasn't paying attention. It's here now. And as Reverend just said, it ain't going nowhere. How long does it stay in Aquarius? How long? What?
20 years. 20 years, and it takes 18 months for just sometime for it just to move through one cycle minimum.
Anybody hear the math she just laid? So I'm gonna just do me, okay? I'm 54. That means this gonna be around till I'm 74.
Come on now.
Hold on, the warning is not even for people my age, cause we smart enough to handle it. It's my little boo thing I just got off the phone with. She 24. She has no idea that every move she make from here to the time she's 44, she got to go through a Saturn return. She got to go through a Uranus opposition. She got to go through all the people that's about to come in her life for the next 20 years. And she is clueless. Not clueless, but a lot of people are really her same age who don't have access to me, who are really clueless. And you just want to be out here like, "Well, I didn't know." The state trooper don't care if you didn't know that you was driving 80 in a 70. He pulled you over and you're getting a ticket. You're gonna have
That's
to go to court. You're gonna have to show up. And
his phone is ringing, so he's coming. He's gonna dip back in.
if you don't show up for court, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
She didn't tell you I had 3 felonies, so I've been to court. So what I'm about to tell you is the law of the white man. If you don't go to court, you get a failure to appear, and they put a warrant out for your black ass. I said your black ass because I'm working on my profanity, but I want you to know I'm talking to you. You got to go to court. You got to go to court and put it on my odd scale. This is the pre-death thing. Pluto is death. It is resurrection. It is transformation. And it's in Aquarius. Now let me get into what I want to share.
Come
Can
on
any
with it.
can anybody say unpredictable? Can anybody say unpredictable? Can anybody say unpredictable evolution? Can anybody say don't give a F about you and you not being ready? Toss and tumble, sandstorm out of nowhere. It also, for those of you who are prepared, can catapult you to another place. I talked to Amsterdam. The rapture will be fast. This is the period of the rapture. So it ain't like you can keep preventing the punishment. And some of you who suffer from what's that thing where you're scared to succeed, success syndrome or something they call it. Something where you're just like afraid of the success.
Fear of
You,
failure.
it's
Failure to launch.
imposter syndrome.
Positive.
Imposter syndrome.
Okay.
If it's in you and you've been doing right and you kind of humble and you supposed to take this position, she gonna propel you out there whether you like it or not. If you at a position of power and you ain't supposed to be and you got it unrighteously, you will be brought down suddenly. And it can be these little things happening too. And they're gonna keep coming on. The momentum today is just a warning preview. We're talking about the middle of like damn near 22 March of 2026 before this thing really get grounded on your ass. You know what I'm saying? And it's you've already been getting warnings. What is it gonna take? Noble Drew Ali before Elijah Muhammad said we are uh, stiff-necked, hard-headed people who sometimes only move by the threat of the sword. Why must we wait until the sword comes to give us the type of motivation to do right? Now, Latanya is much more benevolent than me. She wants y'all to win. She wants y'all to change. I don't care because me and her together, damn near got 60 years of trying to beg y'all to do something. Soon, Pluto will muzzle us.
Ooh.
What will happen when we get muzzled and we're only able to communicate with those who don't need begging? I'm tired of the begging. She ain't tired yet. She kind of tired, but she ain't tired as me. I'm super tired of the begging. I'm super tired of begging you Negroes and knuckle draggers and all this melanated Nuwapians, Moors, whoever y'all are to get it right.
I don't have
It's
a
a
lot of them in my community. These are the women who are in corporate America. These are the women who are in the Divine Nine. I don't have a lot of Nuwapians and all that in my. In fact, many of them don't even know what you're talking about. But I do
so
have a lot of the sisters who have been programmed. Because let me tell you, let me put this in here because good girls have been taught not to break the rules, to go along, to get good grades. And so many of them have been looking for insurance policies. We got to talk. Well, that's why I did that walk through the generations, because we have to look at the mindset that we've been given and where it has come from. And so, yes, everybody talks about the whore. This is the one that's swinging on the poles, the one that's getting the butt shots. Everybody now, even her date is up. That date is up for the model of the whore. But even the whore has a sacred responsibility. But this particular one, the good girl, is the one who has been the one who oftentimes has held these institutions in place with her obedience. When the good girl stops being obedient and starts to ask some questions, when the good girl starts to raise her family and support and partner with her man in another way. I got another surprise for y'all.
uh-oh. Oh, silky, silky.
I got another
Oh,
surprise with y'all.
oh, silky, silky. Now,
Not
I'm
he
not,
they knocking.
I'm not, I'm not sure if y'all know what silky, silky means. Some of you young people, I don't know if you know what silky, silky
Woo.
means. But take a screenshot. This is what silky, silky look like. Oh,
But go
silky,
ahead,
silky
Mm-mm.
now.
finish what you were saying. So, because when you said you don't care and you're tired of the Nawapians, the
Well,
conscious.
well, 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 not just the conscious. I'm just tired of begging. I'm just tired of begging somebody to do right out of what they can see is right. Like your eye gonna get plucked out like Heru. If you know about Heru or not, your eye gonna get plucked out if you keep turning a blind eye to the things you know in your gut. You know in your gut what you're doing is right or wrong, because the
Right.
gut is attached to the universe. And the universe don't have no need to lie for your little minuscule self, your little minuscule ego, mind, identity, piss poor programming. The universe doesn't care about this at all. And we are here pretending that we so certain that it's gonna go this particular way. He said Allah is the best of planners, and many of you are not aligned with no creator. You upset with the creator. This ain't the creator's Garden of Eden. This is the made man's Garden of Eden. This ain't the created garden. This is, matter of fact, it's a made trash heap that a lot of, like you said, a lot of the good girls have supported it out of whatever, fear of being not supported, parent not being there. Ain't no more excuses, no more good right now. I can't bash the whore nor the black man. I can't throw the white man under the bus no more, because we're in the era of self-accountability right now. Aquarius is evolution. Pluto is your transformation in the era of transformation, and it's a 20-year slow drag. Some of y'all can't even go back 20 years. If you're 35, you can only go back to when you was 15. It's us in our 50s and 40s that can go back 20 and try to give y'all this good game.
Yes, Lord.
So it's up to you whether you want to be obedient to what God is sending to you. Because I don't care no more. I'm going to be obedient to what God told me to say and go and walk off the stage and mind my business. I ain't finna risk mine off for nobody. I love Smokey. I love Latanya. I ain't going to risk it for them. I love Vincent. Everybody know I love Vincent, but I'm not about to risk it. And y'all should stop the risky behavior. All I got to say is this is the time to stop risky behavior. I'm talking about you need to be honorable. How do I survive? Latany's probably say, give him some advice. Let me help you. Be honorable. Be honorable. I ain't gonna keep on hitting you with the doomsday. I could do that, but you're gonna need to be honorable, and you're gonna need to start being a stand-up person. That was a lot. I just said a lot because you know that you ain't a stand-up person because you can't. I said you can't erase the thing. You only can. You'll be judged for the things you did and the things you chose not to do. The judgment time is here. This is it. That's why I'm gonna just leave that right there and pass the mic because I see smokers over here. Go ahead.
I do want you to say a little bit more about how Aquarius works, because this is a play between the divine masculine and the divine feminine and us needing each other. And that
Thank
is
you for
why I brought two divine masculines into a community of many women who are seeking to cooperate with the divine masculine. And yes, I do care because I represent the Yemoyah energy, but don't get it twisted. And my husband will tell you, he calls me a little MGT all the time. Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are, where we come from, and we tell them we are. Hey, okay, so a lot of people don't know that part about me. I'm still a vanguard, MGT. So, but my father was an activist. So I know that's not out there because I learned. I literally have been a part of movements, and I know what it means to meet privately. And so we're not going to get everything on YouTube either. But anywho, I want to bring my husband here
wait, wait,
because
wait,
he.
wait, 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 wait. You gave me that one trigger. You gave me that one trigger. You want me to finish this little piece right here?
Okay, okay.
For those of you who've been talking about the age of Aquarius, it's not coming in soft. It's coming in with teeth bared like a Rottweiler, guarding the door, going after something. This age, an age lasts right between 2100 and 2300 years. So everybody who's been talking about age of Aquarius, Pluto coming in is the real initiatory. It's Pluto. Y'all thought the sun would come into Aquarius. No, the moon can't come. No, 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 not Mars, not none of them. Pluto. So you can get your whole freaking attention. Okay? Y'all, somebody better go to Google and type in astrological keywords for Pluto. Go to Chat GPT since y'all love AI. Please tell me everything about Pluto at a sixth grade level as if you were Lauren Hill in KRS-One. Hit enter.
Speaking of which, whew,
Smokey, what's good?
It is very interesting to be me.
Because ain't no such
I,
thing as a life that's better than yours.
what? Even in the calculator, I cannot begin to compute all the things that we have to atone for in our own space. Because without the atonement, you playing out a key in your own song. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing a bunch of different messages why my wife asked me to just jump on here. I'm like, well, I'll jump on and see what's going on. And as usual, y'all cooking up something, some divine gumbo. Sometimes we need to set the record straight, and Pluto is definitely about to set the record straight. Oh my goodness.
So I want you all to to play with me a little bit. I'm gonna go and pull something, and I want y'all to hear this, and I want you to build from it, because I don't think I've ever done this for my tribe in terms of sharing some of the things I shared before you all came on. I shared from B-Dale, and some I share from Mama Bear and her warning, saying that the ancients have already told us. They've been trying to tell us too, and many of them martyred themselves. But I have a clip I want you all to check out really quickly, and then I want y'all to build on this for my sisters, if you will. I'm going to add this real quick, and I want to build from here with you all, okay?
All
So
right.
To masonry is when they life is no longer in their control, they just let it all go. Just let it fall.
he's talking about low vibrations.
And then they pick themselves up from their own ashes and take the lessons they learned to build a better life.
When you study the information in the lodges and you see what's online, do you think everything that the secret societies had access to is online right now? Or do you think that there's mad shit that the Knights Templar, the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians have that still ain't hit the internet yet?
Well, they call secret societies, but the more accurate term would be a society with secrets.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like your local church, and the preachers are sleeping with all the sisters in the congregation. Everybody know it, but ain't nobody saying that. That's called an open secret.
Right.
Now everybody know he's sleeping with the choir director. He's sleeping with the lady that take up the collection. He's sleeping with the lady that's running the usher board. Everybody in the church know it, but it won't nobody say nothing about it. It's an open secret. It's the same with those secret societies. Some of the stuff that they be doing, we know they doing it but won't nobody speak on it. And everybody is complicit in holding the secret. And that's how they make us all be co-conspirators in their dirt.
What I've heard you and Billy Carson talk about the Anunnaki and us living to be them messing with our DNA and I guess putting a limit on how long we could live at this time, putting a cap on I forgot exactly how he says it.
They cut back the telomeres on the chromosomes.
Yeah. And in ancient times, I've heard about people living hundreds, thousands. What do you think is what was the longest you think we was living in antiquity? Like, was it beings that live hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands? Like,
we eternal beings. The physical body is all it is an animated meat suit. It's just like a suit you go get from Brooks Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is your mama had to knit it in her womb in order to sew your essence into it for you to be able to use it, or it won't fit you. It'll come out defective. They call it a birth defect.
Mm-hmm.
If she make a mistake in the weaving in the womb, we have birth defects. And sometimes you got birth defects because the people that's coming in is so powerful, she don't know how to weave the suit correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So to keep the power from causing too much disruption in the reality around, she give it a broken vessel. Because they just want to experience this 3D stuff, the pain and they just want to be here to revel in the energy. But they come in that broken vessel, because if they come in whole like us, they might come in too powerful for all of the systems that make the system work.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to get that part. Coming in too powerful that make all systems work, because so many of us have become afraid of our power. So what you all want to react or respond to that?
Just on the response around too powerful, like time is up for being afraid to turn your light on high. Like you gonna have to turn your light on to what your light is at. I keep telling people you only can operate at your level of initiation. I'm not like a super fan of, because anytime you start bringing Billy Carson in, you talk about a very surface level conversation. And I know that he has a larger audience, but I'm like you go through your normal audience to become one of the elite. Like it's
Go
just
ahead,
got to
say
be.
it. No, say it. I know. That's a channel right now that's open to you.
It's just a lot of uh, desperation cannot be our offensive playbook. Our playbook must be wisdom and deep diving, and it's about to be over for all of the superficial teachings. Like you don't have to worry about the woke community no more. You don't have to worry about nothing, because wherever your level of your latest initiation is at, you're about to go to the next one, regardless of whether you want to or not, because it's just that time. There's so many prophecies that have to come true that they're coming now, and there ain't no stopping us now. Pluto's on the loose.
I'm
Ain't no
so glad
stopping
you said that, because I just saw something from another sister friend, and my husband says this all the time. Some of the rituals and the doing and the conflama that we're doing, if it's not in alignment with our DNA and our genealogy, many of us are going to be
removed is the word Kalinda used.
yeah, I guess. Yes, it really is. My spirit, that spirit in me wants to put out there is evolve or die season. But, I guess that part of my soft heart is don't want to make folks afraid. But honey,
Everything about Scorpio. Scorpio is death. You over here
evolve
is
or die.
shouting. No. It's bonds made and broken. It's die and evolve. Die and evolve. After you evolve, you still can die again. A lot of
Yeah,
things
yeah.
you still got to continue. It's just a rotation. It's not final. The
Yeah,
evolution ain't final, and the death ain't final.
right.
Now he can definitely speak to that. Go ahead, babe.
Well, I'll tell you this from my own experience. Some of us have no idea our own powers that are inside of us, uh, because we waiting for other people to judge us when we using them, right? But if nobody was there judging you, it's like when you paint your own picture. If nobody disturbs you, you're gonna end up with a masterpiece until somebody offers their opinion. Well, why are you doing that? So that kind of like mess with your power. And also, I'm noticing that it's gonna be a lot of brothers and sisters that's gonna wake up disturbed that their powers really belong here in America. Like they the ancient Americans. Like they seeking for things that's right here. They out of pocket. So this is getting ready to be the shakeup for the breakup. I'm already excited about it because again, I've been tapped in and been wanting my brothers and sisters to tap in as well. Because if they telling you are the oldest haplogroup here on the planet, just based on your blood, and that is here, not over there, then where would you be trying to find and tap into your actual birthrights? So with all the stuff that's happening with the cosmos, the planets, you know, and then already experiencing the death experience, passing and coming back, to be afraid of the judgment that, people don't really care. We holding that like that got weight. The caring of what somebody else think about how you participate in life. We all trees, we grow in divine time. Some of us are small trees, and some of us are sequoias. Some of us have already been through fire, you know what I'm saying, to produce what we need to produce. But some of us are mustard seeds, so they're going to burn up. I get it. We're in a new phase. I'm with the cyclic. Keep turning. Like he said, life and death. You're going to keep chasing your tail. You're going to figure out something. That's why I stand on this here. And I stand and I leave the soapbox to y'all.
Oh, why you say soapbox, babe?
Because sometimes you got to put that message in a soapbox, but not realizing that inside of washing something, there is the agitator in the middle of the washing machine. That's how you get stuff clean. You got to agitate it. You can't just talk nice to it. It got to be beaten. You got to get your whites white, right? Okay. Hot water. Okay. Come on, man. We out of order. That's what I mean by soapbox.
Them whites ain't gonna get white washing them in cold. That what you trying to say?
Right? You can't wash whites in cold. And you have to add a strong detergent to brighten back up its element from its true state. You got to add bleach. You know what I'm saying? You have to add concentrated detergent. It can't just be regular. Come on. And you can't mix them. Colors and whites don't mix.
Let me see that fan, Latanya. Let me see that fan. Let me see that fan.
But this also has some rewarding because Pluto is going to be Aquarius is going to be opposite of Leo. It is going to force some of us to glow up. You actually said that in Oyi. You actually said that if it's something that's been in you, right, you not gonna be able to stop what's supposed to come out of you.
Right.
At this time in this season. So there are some benefits for air signs, for Pisces. Somebody asked me about Aries the other day. Aries, the Chiron is in Aries. That's a fierce level of shadow work when we're talking about of self. Like self
Mm-hmm.
so unavoidable because Aries is about the self. It's about the head, the mindset. So there are some favorable things for those of us. Let me I want to talk in terms of entities like Oya. She's feared. She's the goddess of transformation. She comes bearing a knife, just like that Kali Ma energy. But Kali Ma energy is doing this out of love. It's love that's motivating her to come and clear and cleanse. And so, I want to tell the sisters who are watching, you have to find the fierce energy inside of you too. You have to talk to that saboteur inside of you like a itch who stole something. You got to find some kind of way to stop thinking that everything has to come and stroke your ego. So that is any questions, drop them in. I wanted you all to hear because you are always hear from Mama Latanya. Mama Latanya is always trying to love on you, mother you, encourage you. And some of y'all have been on the fence. Y'all play too much. And so this energy is saying, stop playing in your own faith. Recognize who you are. Some of you all are hiding behind Jesus because there's no responsibility there. You don't have to be responsible. And oftentimes when you can just put it on, won't he do it? Won't he do it? But what about won't she do it in you, as you, through you? Okay. Hush and save it for our private spaces. You done, babe? You said it's enough for you?
Nah, I think some things, quit looking for the soft spot all the time. Quit looking for things to be gentle to get the message. You know what I'm saying? Some things you really need divine order is not going to come with a set of I care about how you feel. It's just the law. So I rest my case.
I wanted to give just like the monthly warning because I
Okay,
am the
please.
king of the moon magic. Um, every month when the moon goes through Leo, Y'all gonna feel it. Every fire sign. Because that means the moon's gonna be opposite this transiting Pluto for the next 20 years. So
Correct.
you can take take the number 13, multiply it times 20, and that's how many near death brushes opportunities are on your way. Now you don't have to start studying astrology, but just know that once a month when it get real intense, that's a time for you to evolve because things happen in the space where there's not. So all the attention, everybody's looking at Aquarius, everybody's looking at Aquarius, but the stuff is happening in the opposite of Aquarius, which is Leo. That's why I was like, today the moon is opposite Pluto. Today the moon is opposite Pluto, and we're talking about the mother. And Mars is over there with his Ogun self, like, who want
Okay.
it? What's up? What's up?
Right,
The son is
right.
there with the uwap, and then the mama is there, and she don't care. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna get this once a month, and it's gonna last 3.5 to 4 days. I want to say congratulations to everybody who has been putting the work in. I want to say congratulations to everybody who is desires to face these challenges. I want to say congratulations to everybody who's crazy enough to listen to Tanya, me, and Smokey. Okay, I want to say congratulations to you because I'm changing. I'm turning over a new leaf. Like before, I would be just like, y'all niggas in trouble. No, I'm gonna just congratulate the few. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
I'm still Seaborn Universal Allah. Okay, I come from that school, so I know it's only gonna be, but it's not even 5% no more. It's only gonna be like 3%. And I want y'all
Hmm.
to be around me, and I want to be around y'all because there's also about to be a big, not just a spiritual transfer, but there's a wealth transfer. There's a
That's right.
Absolutely.
material wealth transfer that's happening right now. We call them Don Don. But ever since November the 5th, look at what crypto's been doing. It's just been giving you a preview of what's coming.
Hmm.
Okay? So if you're still on the fence about something, at least fall to the winning side. At least fall to the winning side if you're gonna be on the fence. Fall forward, you know. But the only thing happened about the chicken crossing the road is he became roadkill. Okay, this ain't the old days. This is not the era of Pisces where you can just be stuck in illusion. When you was in Pisces, you just want to put your head in the sand and avoid everything. That's what's been going on for the last 20 years. Not no more. It's too much information out here. Pluto is lighting the fire to all the intel that's out here. Do you think it's a coincidence that AI just all of a sudden blew up like this right before Pluto went into Aquarius? You ain't got to worry about AI taking your job. You're gonna have to worry about your new job is facing you. Facing you, what? Your boss is gonna be confused now. You're gonna be going in all the leadership from the big major companies, they're confused. They're leaving now. They're
Hmm.
leaving jokers
They
just
are.
out there. And I just got into a new wealth agency for me and the people around me. And the first thing they told me when I came in, they was like, "We're looking for leadership." I was like, "Where'd they go? Why y'all tucking tail and running now?" But it's those of us who supposed to be the leaders. I'm a late bloomer. I got Saturn in my ninth house, conjunct my sun. So it's my turn now. You ain't like how it was back when I was Kair. It's all good. I still got the same, I still kill ants with a sledgehammer, but I have just a little more compassion because I have my attention focused on the winning, not the losing. No, but Drew Ali
Correct.
said we celebrate the living and we bury the dead. I got shovels for sale and I got
Yep.
pom poms for sale. Which one would you want a set of pom poms or you want a shovel? I'm out here pom pomming it. I'm out here pom pomming it.
Oh, yeah, I want you. Can you talk a little bit to those who know a little bit of human design in a general sense of the word? Like how would you suggest it's more generators out here than it is, let's say, projectors, but this is a good time to use your authority and your strategy in this season more than ever, wouldn't you say?
This morning we had a huddle call, and my reflector, who I've been knowing 25 years, came on and he said, "What if you kept all the promises that you ever made to yourself?"
Ooh,
Hold on, let me say it one more time for y'all in the back.
wait a
What
minute.
what if you kept all the promises you ever made to you, yourself, and your soul? The answer is it's in your human design chart. The main promise, the number one promise you made when you came down here is I was going to live my divine design. So whatever you are, you need to be in that strategy. It is the safest thing for you. Projectors, don't rush. Wait for the invitation. Generators, don't try to attract. Respond when something come to you. Uh, Manifester, inspire who you can inspire. Inform who you can inform. Reflector, don't let nobody push you into no decision. Wait a full lunar cycle. All I can give you is these strategies. It's up to you. Remember, you got free will. That's the other thing too. My creator gave all of us free will, and some of y'all are very hard-headed, stiff-necked, like we said before. So I'm just going, it's the best thing you can do about human design is study the basics for the next 6 months. Don't anybody trying to go really, really high advanced on the
Yeah,
human
yeah.
design, don't even mess with that right now, because everybody's gonna have to be, you got to duck down sometimes when you're going through these initiations to walk up under something before you can just stand up right like that. And some of y'all want to just eat the elephant all at one time real fast like that. That's not a safe bet. Are you waiting for the invitation? It's something simple. You know, are you
And
how am I going
manifestors. Come on, talk
you
about them manifestors.
you manage gens. Stop skipping steps. I told y'all this last year. Stop skipping steps. I'm telling you again. You manifestors, is your information inspiring um with integrity? Lack of integrity for everybody right now gonna get your head chopped off.
Mm-hmm.
Lack of integrity right now gonna get your head chopped off because, like they say, you can pay gas, grass, or ass. Nobody rides for free. The ancestors be wanting to eat, and so a lot of y'all ain't been taken care of just who you are in your own design yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Get your
so glad.
chart. Get your chart and start going over to AI. You don't want to come pay me for a reading? It's okay. I don't say I'm expensive. I say not coming to see me, not coming to see Latanya is expensive. I'm not
Yeah,
expensive. I'm not
yeah,
expensive. Not
because
coming to see me is costly.
right. And listen, it costs more when you come when you in distress, because then you want
Mm-hmm.
private coaching, then you want specialized coaching, you want your lack of preparation to be my emergency.
Emergency.
And I no longer function like that because I'm no longer in lack consciousness. And so no longer do I coach your pain either. Go get your therapist to coach your pain. So if I want to coach, I want to support those who have vision and want to stand up to be the feminine leaders in our lineage, to be the ones in our lineage that know you are the one. Why am I talking about lineage? And this is such a good segue to close on, because Scorpio, Pluto, Plutonian energy is ancestral. And you have allowed the westernized world to make you afraid of ancestor worship. But yet when you call on Jesus, Jesus is an ancestor. So do you not see the hypocrisy that goes on between your soul and your colonized mind? Which is why I played the clip from Mama Bear, because we are going to need to put our ancestors to work, not to worship them like you worship Jesus, but have you given your ancestors something to do for you? They're waiting in us, as us, and through us. When we talk about God in us, as us, and through us, those ancestors are also represented by the planets and your natal chart and your human design and your numbers and all of the ways that you've already been blueprinted and coded with instructions and cautionary tales. So yeah, come get a reading, come to the rites of passage, do the rites of passage, because your mama didn't do rites of passage. And that's why we're having to reparent ourselves. We're having to remother ourselves. We're having to call on, oh, what? Don't do this in the feminine. Oh, wait a minute. The thing that I thought was profane is the thing that opens me up so that I can communicate through my spiritual gifts. Oh, yeah. So that's why. So listen, if you're watching and you haven't signed up for the Fab Factor, the feminine abundance basics, it's an introductory conversation to get our business in order, both on to practice the feminine arts, but also to practice making some power moves and understanding, laying those foundations for our families. And I always talk about the business of family. Maybe I can get these two brothers and some other sisters to come in and we do some type of seminar for us to talk about really what is the business of family. Rod Hayes just posted about how all corporations are ran by about what, 9 or maybe even 6 major families. Families. Rockefeller is a family. Trump is a family. The Bidens, the Obamas, they're all family.
Yeah.
Bushes,
The
the
presidents of
Carters, they all
you say it
families.
again,
The Bushes, they all families. The
all
Bushes, the
family.
Walkers, it don't matter how the Nixons, how far you just because you forgot about them don't mean their family died out or you didn't study them. It don't mean that they're not there. And what you triggered too from Sister Myra, the message is what has been working is about to stop, and what has never worked is about to start. So
Oh my
some
God.
so some of you are gonna suffer from 3 inches to gold. So you be I'm working. It just ain't gonna go right. And you're gonna quit and you're gonna be this close. You're gonna be this close right here because you gave up because you thought that, nah, your breakthrough is coming if you've been doing the work. Your breakthrough is coming if you've been doing the work. I also
I
just put my
say,
link on there. I said, to get
yeah.
your free HD chart, you can just come over to the Cosmic Jedi, hit that right there. Just put your information in. Don't cost you nothing. Don't cost you
They're
nothing.
gonna
I
get
ain't
a
even.
free. This audience gonna get it from your rebirth by design, and then we're gonna
They
team
go
up and
one
do
right
some
there
stuff.
too. They go
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Get your free
It goes
chart.
up. Get your free chart. But I
Get your
got
free
a
chart.
free human design chart. What do you have? A free natal chart?
No, I got a free human design too.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you got to come to both of us to get your natal chart. If you have enrolled in the Fab Factor, the 7-day process, you'll get a little bit of a Black Friday deal to schedule your blueprint reading. I thank you all for this. Is the long. We always go a little longer when I bring in the adepts because the adepts have a different type of conversation. So thank you for those of you who have been watching. I want to get you just landed it, brother Oyi. Honey, I want to give you an opportunity. You want to share anything as we close out of here, particularly from because you are a genius when it comes to the history, the timeline, and linking it all together. Any closing remarks for you, babe?
Um, my memory is long for a reason. Uh, I can't, that's where I can't lose because I'm very clear on my position here on the planet, and it got a lot to do with what I remember. I didn't come to do what everybody else came to do, so I'm gonna grow my own culture. Everybody else grow something that besides work. Shit, you came here to the planet to do something other than work. So I'm outside, y'all. That's my whole perception. Be outside, live on your terms. You're gonna bump into obstacles, but somebody done been through what you already going through. So sit down and talk to them. You know,
Oh,
have
that's
have a dialogue.
that's
Have
good right
dialogue.
there.
You know,
Yeah.
be open to receive new information, and it don't have to come to the part where it always feel good. But if it's the
Mm.
truth, then use it. You know what I'm saying? Don't matter who gave it to you. If it's the truth, use it.
Ashe. Thank you, babe.
Mashallah.
Do you
I'm
want to
trying to. Oh
give
nah,
any close?
it's hard to come behind that guy right there. He like a spiritual porn star. It's hard to come behind him. So I'm very happy. Thank you for letting me come on.
Please share
For
your link again so I can the Cosmic Jedi, everyone. There's so much that your brother offers here, from
well,
qigong to read.
Bufo. That's really where I'm at right now. I'm ready for those who ready for that. I'm ready for
Talk
those
a
who want
little
the
bit about
highest
the
initial.
Bufa. Go ahead.
Bufo is the strongest entheogen on planet Earth right now. It's the one that Mike Tyson got from Dr. Jerry. I was trained by a doctor, OGBYN. I'm the black scientist. I'm the black bufo guy, following the manual, doing it correctly with pre-integration, post-integration. Meet God, the God in you that you build a wall up to stop getting the love from God. Bufo tears that down.
Woo, my
Boof,
God.
boof, boof, and because that's something that we suffering
I'm a
from.
little
So
scared. I'm a little scared of Bufo.
Kalindi was too, and he did it anyway. I had this whole conversation this morning in my meditation. What do I do when I'm resistant or scared? You do it
Do
anyway.
it anyway. I said that
It's
when I opened up today before you came on. That's why you my brother.
right. So, if you're interested in a Bufo experience, you can also go to Cosmic Jedi and just send me a chat. Just hit Bufo, leave your phone number. I get back to you. You know, a lot of y'all know how to get in contact with
Just
me.
introducing the plant medicine through the sacred mushroom to everybody. Now he taking us to Bufo, but so this is what I'm gonna say. If there's anybody in the audience who wants to coordinate, we go in. We do you do it only individual or do you do it in ceremony?
I do it in individual ceremony. Bufo is not designed for no group of people. It can be a
Okay,
group of people waiting outside to congratulate you when you finish. Like, because we allot 1 hour for a ceremony, but what they say is you're getting 10,000 hours of therapy in 20 minutes because it's the ride of your life. And you ain't gonna never forget it. You can't unsee what you see in that 20 minutes. You thought it was impossible? It's not impossible. So, but it's a very private, very, very private. So
thank you for that
somebody's at,
distinction.
yes,
Okay.
it's very, very private. It's
I
very, very
say you're
private.
going to be in good hands to do this. Travel to wherever brother is, or bring him to you. And I thank you so much for coming on last minute. I just couldn't think of another person to have this kind of conversation with. So
Los
we got all.
Angeles, Los Angeles. We're trying to get some folks in Los Angeles. We're trying to be in Los Angeles. We need 3 more people in Los Angeles for a weekend Bufo sanctuary. It's a weekend Bufo sanctuary in Los Angeles. We need 3 more people. Please get in contact with Latanya or me. And this is the first weekend in December.
Ashe. Thank you, brother. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna you and put you all down backstage for a minute, and I just want to close out just saying thank you all for hanging in. Before we close out, I want you to give your favorite frames. We've been on here a while, and anything, any undigested good turns to ish. It constipates you. So digest this with me. Tell me something you heard that's useful to you that you're going to put into action right now, today, or within the next 24 hours. Because if you get information and you don't digest it and you don't set an intention, it's just another inspiration that you don't do anything with. Those of you who have already signed up for the Fab Factor, it is reduced as soon as I'm not going to even say the amount because I was supposed to take it down 2 days ago. And so I'm telling you, if you've been hemming and hawing, if you've done it before, so what? It's not like you've ever done it before then. I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago when you first did it. So this is a session that I'm doing live. I don't always guide these live, but I want you all to be a part of the Fab Factor. We launch on 12/12, another power vortex for you to position yourself to prosper, to program your prosperity. Okay, so good. Go ahead. Tell me your favorite frames. Juan says everything we want is right outside of our comfort zone. Ashe. Okay. Yes. Okay. Anybody else? What else? What the favorite nugget that you're taking away today? Come on, y'all. Talk back to me. This is what happens. You're so used to being entertained and watching, but what are you taking away today? Don't just say this is deep and then you do nothing with it. Do you have a question? Are you going to ask the question? Do you have a book that you want to read? Oh my God, am I having to this is why Khayr say we're tired. All of this ought to be just coming through. Come on through. You watching, y'all still watching, but you ain't talking. Talk back, engage, stop watching, get off the fence, say something for yourself. Okay. Takoa says something in me has to die to be rebirth. Yes, my love. Dana, who is the new, well, not really new, who has officially accepted being the assistant minister to Rebirth International Ministries. Dana Beasley says, not the season to do nothing. This is not the season to do nothing. Okay. Chantel says, my frame and digestion is that early Gen X. More work on my shadow. Okay. Tammy Moore, come on in, Tammy. We're going to be forced into our calling and the life we're supposed to live. Yes. Come on now. Digest this for somebody else who's watching and afraid. Okay. Arlene says, I'm not looking back to be a pillar of salt, staying the course for now. Yes. Schneidine says, understanding the different generations and how they affect us. Yes. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Last call for alcohol. It's been my honor to hold this space and talk about this. We could literally talk about Pluto and Aquarius all year because we probably need a support group for it, really, to be proactive. So I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Thank to Brother Oyi for joining, my husband for joining at the last minute. That's kind of the suddenly energy that Aquarius is going to move in. So be ready stay ready so you don't have to get ready. When you got the oil in you and you've been doing it, guess what? It's easy for you to be answered when you called upon. Okay, Dee Simmons said, ready, set, let's go. That's what I'm talking about, Dee. All right, don't look back or you'll get pushed. This is good. I love you all. There's nothing you can do about it. If you have any questions, the link is in my bio. Come into the 7-day Fab Factor. It's a good time to be had by all. Ciao. Have a wonderful day, everyone.